Hello everyone and welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at an unboxing of two absolute classic fragrances. Before we get into that, I just wanted to say a really big thank you to George from the Fragrance Apprentice for his first impressions review of my fragrance, the new one that's coming out soon, Gravitas Pour Homme. There's a link for the Kickstarter campaign in the description below. Great review, and I've also put a link to his review in the description below. One other thing I just wanted to address, a couple of people have been asking about safety issues with Gravitas Pour Homme, because Naughton and Wilson, of course, we're a new brand, and people have been asking, can we be sure that this has been tested adequately in the way that the big companies do, to make sure it's not going to give any bad reactions on your skin, allergic reactions, or anything else that might, there are all kinds of things that have to be tested for that could be dangerous with a new product. But don't worry, we're very thorough indeed over at Naughton and Wilson, and we have made sure we've tested this in every possible way, so there'll be no skin reactions or anything like that, no reactions with any other products that you might use on your skin or in your hair. So don't worry, it's safe to use Gravitas Pour Homme. As soon as you get your bottle, you will be ready to spray with complete confidence. So hope that clears that one up. Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to do an unboxing video. Often when I do these, they are vintage fragrances. In this case, they are modern formulas of rather classic fragrances, both released quite a long time ago. So very excited to try these two out. Got the box here. They're from Naughton, UK. I do a monthly sponsored video for them actually. This is not it, but at least one of them I think will feature in my video this month, hopefully, if it's as good as I'm anticipating. So let's get stuck into it. I have made a preliminary incision in the box there, so let's open her up and see what we've got. Okay, so nicely bubble wrapped, that's good. Things always seem to come very well packaged, I must say, from Naughton, UK. So we've got two fragrances in here. Let's see what they are. Okay, so I'm going to try and only reveal one at a time. Okay, let's do the one you can see there first, because the game has been given away. So the first one is New West by Aramis. And this fragrance is was a 1988 release. It was only £22 and the strange number of 28 pence for a 100ml bottle on Naughton. And this one is the modern formula. There is a sort of vintage version with a different bottle that some people seek out, but I'm pretty happy just to pick up this one. So we can see the box. Let's get stuck into the bottle. Okay, so we'll get rid of the cellophane and let's see how the bottle looks. Classic 1988 release, and it comes in this style of bottle, and there's quite a few in this series that they've reissued, including Havana, a famous tobacco one from Aramis, is it JHL, Tuscany, quite a few others in this kind of reissued, I think it might be called the Gentleman series or something like that. A very simple but perfectly acceptable bottle design, new waste, and it's actually called a skin scent because that's how it was originally labelled. I think it's in the ballpark of eau de toilette, but the marketing back then actually called it a skin scent. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a very weak skin scent, but we'll try and find out. So what I'm going to do with this one, I've actually forgotten to grab a tester strip, so we're going to use a couple of rather scruffy scraps of paper, for which I must apologise. So let's spray some on. This one I have tried in stores a few times, but not many, and I've always really liked it, so I was really pleased to add it to the collection. So let's see my first impressions on this one. Okay, very classic, very old school actually. I'll tell you the fragrance notes. In the top we have sea notes and artemisia, bergamot, lavender, aldehydes, mint and cumin. It's a long note listing. In the mid we have coriander, jasmine, bay leaf, geranium, pine, watermelon and juniper berries. The base notes are oak moss, amber, leather, musk and patchouli. So this one is sometimes described as a prototype aquatic scent, kind of ushering in the aquatic scents of the 1990s, things like Acqua di Gio and maybe even L'Eau de Say, which came later. I find it much more green and mossy than that, kind of a piney fougere, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. It is a very nice, fresh, very piney actually, very kind of minty, piney undertones with this one. Very fresh, but actually quite dated smelling, I have to admit. I kind of like the old-fashioned scents, but this one definitely has an old-school 80s, more of an 80s feel in smell really than a 90s one for me. So my first impression of this, definitely glad to have it in the collection, but if you're thinking it's a sort of a more exciting or the original version of an aquatic scent from the 90s, you might be disappointed, but if you like your aromatic fougères, your piney fragrances, then you might well enjoy this one. Moving on then, we're going to get stuck into the next fragrance. Before we do that, here's a brief word about a rather exclusive club that you might just like to join. Don't forget, if you'd like to join the Smelly Army Private Members Club over on Patreon, there's a link in the description to do that. It costs just $2 a month and you get an extra video from me every week, plus you get to watch everything I've already uploaded in there. We're building a really nice community, lots of interaction, and I'd love to see you in there. Okay, so here we go. Let's get stuck into the second package, and I'm actually slightly more excited about this one probably of the two. So this one is Duc de Vervon's L'Extrême from the house of Houbigant. So the people who did two of my favourite fragrances, which are Houbigant Cologne Intense and Fougère Royale, much more recent releases. This one was originally released back in 1990, I think. Yeah, 1990. There is a Duc de Vervon's Not Extreme version, which was released in 1985. So this was a sequel with slightly different notes. Don't have the perfumer for either of these. It's a 120ml bottle, and the price on this one's £77, and quite a famous fragrance indeed. So the Eau de Parfum there is a designation. Let's get stuck into it and see what we've got. Okay, now I quite like the bottle design from the pictures I've seen. I've never smelled this one. You rarely see it in stores, so it's going to be exciting. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so the bottle design is spectacular. The green colour, a bit reminiscent of Ralph Lauren's Polo Green. Very dated or old school 80s style design, and a bit of information on there, but I really like that. Quite like the box too, but the bottle, just happy to have that in the collection, even for the bottle alone. But I'm hoping it's going to smell good. So this one, the notes listed, we have in the top lemon, orange, tree blossom, bergamot, spices, lavender, amber and moss. Let's spray a bit on a card and give you a brief first impression. Very big old school style sprayer. That's more interesting to me than the other one. Let's see. Yeah, lots of lavender. Very old school, very classic kind of vibe. 80s kind of smell again. 1991 release, but smells a bit more 80s than that. So, yeah, again, it's kind of a bit mossy and piney. There is a certain sort of spiciness in here. Lovely oak moss and lavender. And a nice lemony freshness. I think I'm going to really enjoy that one. That's a really classic old school fougère vibe to me. Strangely, it's designated as a leather fragrance on Fragrantica, but don't buy into that. Very, very nice first impression on that. Quite excited to own both of them. On first impression, maybe slightly more excited about Duc de Vervon's L'Extrême. So let me know if you've tried either of these. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll leave it there for today. See you in the next video. And remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project.